Layla is talking to someone about the events of the last episode as a fake ID is being printed for her. She expresses an interest in returning the stolen artifacts to their rightful owners. It is revealed that this is her mother, and the family specializes in creating fake identities. They share a moment remembering Layla's father before she is bid farewell to join Marc in Egypt. In Cairo, the Scarab guides Arthur and his followers to the location of Amit's tomb. They celebrate as they are informed that Marc's spectre is tracking them. Elsewhere, Marc encounters some henchmen on the rooftops. He beats them with his bare hands, refusing to kill them as Steven takes over. When he recovers, he is in a cab to the airport, which he stops when the thugs he was fighting show up right outside. He chases one of them down to talk to him. He demands the location of Harrow, but when Steven takes over, the next scene shows Marc surrounded by multiple dead bodies, except one. Khonshu tells Marc to bring the boy to the ledge in an effort to scare him into giving up Arthur's location, but the boy sacrifices himself instead. Marc and Steven have a heated exchange regarding the dead bodies, but Steven blames Khonshu. Marc discusses the situation with Khonshu, who decides to signal the other gods by causing an unpredicted solar eclipse. Arthur immediately recognizes the MO, but encourages the others to continue digging no matter what. He tells them he is about to be called upon. Marc runs aimlessly as Khonshu informs him that the gods are gathering their avatars. A portal opens for Marc in the form of a secret stone tunnel. Khonshu promises Marc he will be there. A reflection of Steven praises their presence inside the Pyramid of Giza. Marc is greeted by Hathor's avatar, Yatzil. Other avatars appear as Marc approaches them. The meeting is called to order to hear the account of Khonshu, who takes over Marc's body to petition the gods for their assistance. Khonshu is reminded that the avatars who remain only remain to observe, not to meddle in the affairs of men. Khonshu calls for judgment against Arthur Harrow for conspiracy to release Amit. Arthur Harrow is called to the meeting and placates Khonshu and the other avatars with a story of visiting the site for pleasure. Arthur goes on to accuse Khonshu of ensnaring him into service to search for Amit's tomb for selfish, paranoid reasons, calling him a shamed god. Arthur goes on to say that Khonshu is unhinged and his servant is unwell. When asked for clarification, Arthur presents the facade of Marc's spectre and Steven Grant as a delusion. Khonshu attempts to shout him down, ultimately attempting to attack him, but he is prevented from committing violence in the chamber. Arthur calls Marc a deeply troubled man who is being abused by Khonshu, in the same way he claims to have been treated when he was Khonshu's avatar. He implores the gods to take action now, before it's too late. Marc is summoned to speak to the council and is asked if he is unwell. Marc admits being unwell and needing help, but says that it doesn't change the fact that Arthur is a dangerous person. Marc is told that Arthur has committed no offense in the eyes of the council, and the matter is concluded. As Arthur walks away, Yatzil looks on as Marc contemplates his situation. He tells him that there is another way for him to help. Yatzil tells Marc of the Medjay named Senfu, who was tasked with recording the location of Amit's tomb. If Marc can find Senfu's sarcophagus, he should be able to find Amit. Senfu's sarcophagus was sold on the black market, so Marc begins on the streets of Cairo. When he asks the location of Senfu's sarcophagus to a juice vendor who cautiously backs away as Layla surprises Marc from behind, Marc warns her of the dangers of being there as Khonshu watches on. Marc and Layla ride on a boat as they discuss the situation. Layla tells him that she only wants to stop Harrow. Marc apologizes to her and asks about Mogart, the collector of antiquities they're going to meet. They reminisce about their wedding, and Layla asks Marc about his alternate personality, Steven. She reminds him that they could have worked on it together if he told her about it. Marc suggests that it may be too late now as they dock. Marc leaves the bags below the dock as he notices a raft following them. Layla suggests it could be Harrow's men following them. They go over their cover story. Layla greets her connection Beck, who leads them to Mogart. They observe Mogart training in combat on horseback. Mogart dismounts and greets Layla, who introduces Marc to him as her husband, Rufino. When asked what his interest is in the artifact, Marc says he only wants to look. As they're looking at the sarcophagus, Marc engages Steven in a private conversation through reflection. Steven instructs Marc to touch some pieces in the sarcophagus, but he is stopped by Beck and Mogart, who hold him at gunpoint. Beck speaks to Mogart, who remembers another party interested in the sarcophagus. It is Harrow, offering to include Mogart and everyone else in the treasure of Amit in exchange for the sarcophagus. Though they try to argue, Arthur admonishes Layla and Marc further. The gems in the cane begin to glow as he leads his men to the sarcophagus. Meanwhile, Khonshu is encouraging Marc to summon the suit and give them what they want. Harrow offers to show Mogart the power, which Mogart accepts. Harrow holds up his staff and chants an incantation before the sarcophagus explodes. As he walks away from the explosion, Moon Knight appears. Beck gets Mogart away from the scene as Moon Knight and Layla engage the security team. Layla takes the opportunity to raid what's left of the sarcophagus, but she is interrupted by Beck. Steven forces a takeover of the suit and is immediately impaled by 2 spears. Layla fights back until she ultimately stabs Beck. Marc takes the suit back and continues to engage Mogart's security before he arrives ready to joust. As Mogart charges, Moon Knight grabs Layla and throws a spear into Mogart's back. The two leave. As they are driving away, Layla asks Marc why Arthur told her that she has a right to know about Marc. She goes on about not knowing Marc at all, and Marc agrees that she doesn't. A disciple of Harrow spots Marc and Layla approaching a site in the desert. Marc and Layla try to piece together the swatches of cloth to put the clue together. Marc rips the rearview mirror off the Hummer to summon Steven. Steven immediately takes out packing tape as Layla approaches him. When he notices her, he tells her how the Egyptians invented modern navigation before revealing to her the star-shaped map he was able to tape together. Steven suggests that the constellation merely shows its position at the time of the burial. The stars drift over time, which means that they would need to know where the constellation would have shown up back then. Khonshu suddenly tells Steven that he remembers that night. Steven follows Khonshu with Layla close behind. Khonshu tells Steven that they can reverse the stars to their exact position on that night. However, this would mean it would be his final offense to the gods, who threaten to imprison him in stone. Khonshu tells Steven to have Marc free him once he is imprisoned. Steven summons the suit and mimics Khonshu's moves to reverse the stars. As it is happening, Layla is able to find the location on her tablet. Meanwhile, the avatars of the remaining gods begin to transfer Khonshu into a stone relic. Steven/Marc falls to the ground unconscious. Harrow visits Khonshu in his stone state and tells him that he enjoyed carrying pain on his behalf, which was why he took so much comfort in the power of healing. Harrow tells Khonshu that his torment is what forged him and that he will owe his victory to Khonshu.